Hi, this is Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com, and today I have with me the LG Optimus 2X. It's the first dual-core smartphone on the market. It runs Android 2.2 Froyo as its operating system, and it features a 1080p HD video-capable 8-megapixel camera. So here's the unmarked box that LG sent me the 2X in. This obviously isn't the normal retail packaging. Here's the phone itself. Set this aside, and I think it's just a pack of some basic accessories. What are we going to here? This is a USB to micro USB cable. So it has a micro USB port charging. Oh, this is nice. It looks like they've included one of the HDMI cables. Yeah, we'll test that out on an HD TV. And here, of course, is the wall adapter. It's even a US wall adapter, surprise. And you just plug the USB cable into this to charge it. The device weighs 144 grams. It's 11 millimeters thick for the most part. It has a little bit of a bulge here for the 8-megapixel camera and the flash. Take a look at the hardware controls. There's nothing on the left-hand edge. Up top is the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, the HDMI port, and the power standby button that I use to activate the phone. Right hand edge, volume control, no dedicated camera shutter button. On the bottom, looks like we've got stereo speakers flanking the micro USB charging port. And again, here's the back that I mentioned. Nice looking metal strip down the middle here, and that slight bulge there for the camera. Pull off the rear cover here. Take a look at it. I already put my SIM card into it. 1500 milliamp hour battery. There's a micro SD memory card slot right there, but it already has 8 gig of storage built in. Right down here at the bottom you can see the plastic cover over some of the antennas. So here's the phone powered up. You can see we've got touch-sensitive controls down the bottom, menu, home, back, and search, and a 4-inch wide VGA display. This is an LCD type display. It's not Super AMOLED or anything, but quite colorful, as you can see. Forward-facing 1.3 megapixel camera there. I'll show you that a little bit later, and we've got some sensors as well. Speaker up top. And that's about it. You might be able to detect the slight curve in the edge of the glass here. It's a little hard to see on the camera. It's very slight. It's just a slight beveling, I guess you would call it. But it gives an attractive look, and the metal edging around the phone is quite rich looking. It's a very stylish device. Simple, classy, but elegant looking. I'm going to start up the device here, and you can see on the lock screen here that we have a new message. Shows up in the notification area as well, but we'll take a look at that later. Here's the home screen. There's a few adjustments you can make to it. You see home settings here. You can set the number of panels on it from 3, 5, or 7. 7 is default. Got a couple of widgets here. This is one of LG's bookmark widgets. A little bit different looking. Works pretty well. Main menu has been highly customized. One of the things I really like about the phone. It starts up in this view here. It says System Applications, and you can see these are the downloads. So all the applications you download come up here. Some of these were actually pre-installed or somewhat pre-installed, like Shrek Karting, Spider-Man, and Guitar Hero. But others, you can see some of the benchmarks I pulled down, Advanced Task Killer. They all show up here in downloads automatically. First time you run them, the N, which I presumably stands for new, will go away. So you can see which ones I've run, which ones I haven't here. The idea is that you can then move them around. So I could take, say, Advanced Task Killer and pull it up into, the System Applications section. Now the interesting thing is that you can also create new categories. Let's just call it New Category. And I'll go back to edit mode, and instead I'm going to grab ATK and put it up here in the test category. So you can arrange things in whatever order. The frequently used ones you could put up at the top, ones you never use at the bottom, all sorts of stuff like that. Really kind of cool. But there's more to it than that. You can also do a horizontal grid. This is very much like Samsung's TouchWiz, whereas you have multiple panels and you can arrange things by default alphabetically. Everything will come in alphabetically by default. Then you can edit this and then move them around and change them any way you like. And if you want, you can always just hit Reset Custom and send everything right back to the way it was initially, alphabetically. And just like Samsung's TouchWiz, if you put the main menu into edit mode, you can change the icons that show up at the bottom. You can see I now have call log at the bottom. Can move over here and re-grab messaging and pull that back down. And hit back to get out of edit mode. Show you a couple interesting things. You'll recognize that gesture for going into a thumbnail view of the home screens. You can also get to it by pressing the home button when you're already on the default panel. Another interesting thing is you can move things, say widgets, icons, whatever, around by tilting the device. So I'm going to grab the Facebook item here. So instead of dragging it to the edge, you can tilt the phone to get to the panel you want, whereas you can then let go and place it, which is really kind of cool. Go up to the notification area here. You can see shortcuts at the top for various controls, commonly used controls, silent mode, auto rotate, Wi-Fi. Music controls built in even when you're not playing anything. So kind of wastes a bit of space there, but still kind of nice. And then here are the actual shortcuts for things like new messages. So let's go into text messaging, and I'll show you a couple of different things here. The text messaging, it's a threaded system. LG's keyboard here. Some of the prediction and stuff is turned off by default, so you're going to want to enable that to get the most out of it. It doesn't work very well in its default state. I'll show you something cool. Now, of course, there's double space put in a period, full stop, whatever you want to call it. You can tap somewhere and then move the cursor around by dragging left and right. But there's actually something else you can do that's pretty cool if you enable it in settings. I'm going to pull in tighter here. Now watch what happens to the cursor as I tap on the device. I'm basically knocking the cursor over, which is pretty slick. There's a number of different gestures, as LG calls them, that work with the phone. Inbound calls or music, you can mute it or pause it by flipping the phone over, things like that. A lot of cool things in there, so you want to check those out. In any case, the text messaging works pretty well. There's no swipe or anything like that built in. And just send off the message here. Hit back to get the keyboard to go away. Nicely threaded, easy to see, and of course the photo of the contact you're dealing with right there at the top. Another thing I like about the user interface here is little indicators showing how many messages you have. Say that the email icon there shows 30 messages. This is one of the email accounts I have configured. This is actually going to Gmail. It's just to show you that you can pull up Gmail in a regular account. Here's some formatted text. Works in landscape mode, of course. See, there's an attachment, so I'm going to hit the Save button. It's going to ask me where to save. If I had a SD card installed, it would provide that as an option too, but there's only internal memory at this point. Quickly downloaded wherever a Wi-Fi connection. And tap here to hopefully bring up the document. And there it is. Happens to be a Samsung press release. It does not like every file though. I have another test document that I used for Windows Phone 7, and you'll see it craps out every time it loads. It looks like some sort of message pops up briefly, but I've never been able to read it. You can go into multi-select mode, so you can select messages here. Just tap on them. Get rid of this one too, and then maybe I'll delete them. Back to get out of the multi-select mode, and here's the message. You can see, of course, HTML support. I've pulled up Gmail for the same account just so you can see the difference. Again, formatted text. Document link there. You have access to the priority inbox, starred folders, all that kind of stuff like you would expect to find in Gmail. I'm going to expand the bookmark widget here and then pull up the Mobile Burn homepage. This is the mobile version. Everything looks quite nice. Hit the full site button. This will bring up the full version of Mobile Burn. It's Flash support. Right now I have it set to Flash on plugins on demand, so you can see that banner up at the top, Flash banner, shows just the arrow. By default, Flash is enabled for everything. I just find it's a little bit more usable when you only use Flash when it's necessary. In spite of the fact that there's a dual-core processor in this device, Flash still has a negative impact on the browser performance. So here's the home page, and I'm going to enable Flash again just so you can see the embedded YouTube video. Oh, I appear to have paused it. There we go.
Test video, the LG Optimus 2X in 1080p mode.
Bookmarks in the browser and everything looks just like stock Android. I've got thumbnails here, most visited sites, and of course your history.